Welcome back into the space, my love. If you have not yet subscribed, just make sure you subscribe below. Now, I thought it would be a great opportunity to share with you my story so that you understand how I can help you and the journey that's brought me to this space where I can coach humans feeling overwhelmed in their life. So, as I mentioned, 5 years ago, I couldn't walk. I was a PT at the time, personal trainer, and I felt like my body was attacking me. I found it so hard to stand up, to walk. I went to the doctors. They didn't know what to do with me. They did all the bloods. They said they all came back clear, and that perhaps I could have antidepressants to cope with how I was feeling in my body, and steroids because I had suspected fibromyalgia. And that was it. And I knew at that point it was the opportunity to really step up for myself and not normalize this feeling that I'm feeling. So I worked with a naturopath. We did so much exploration to see what was going on for me in my body. I worked on loads of healing modalities to help me. It was one of the most challenging times of my life because I felt so trapped in my body. And one of my coping mechanisms from when I was younger was always exercise. Exercise was my thing. I was a personal trainer and I couldn't do that anymore. And I grew up with an alcoholic mom, and what that created inside of me was this feeling like I had to earn love. I had to push myself to the limits in my body. I had to people please. I didn't feel worthy. I felt like if I did more, then I was worthy of taking up space in my life. It was always chasing. It was always dopamine hits that I was chasing to feel good enough. And when I got to a certain age and I was old enough to start going to the gym, exercise was my way of coping. It was a way of me shifting energy when everything around me was so chaotic in my family life. It was one thing that grounded me and brought me back to myself. So 5 years ago, I'm in this situation where I've got two young children and I am struggling to move my body. The one thing that I love to do, the exercise, I just couldn't do it. My kids would have to pull me up off the floor. I remember each time I used to get out of the car, I felt so sore getting out of the car. I would have to cook dinner sat down, and I was just such a depleted version of me. And I fell out with my body. I lost trust in my body. I had no idea when this was going to change and when I was going to feel like I had energy. And I think that was one of the hardest parts, the moments that I was, on my knees on the bedroom floor, crying, wishing that I could escape my body. And I'm sharing this story because I want you to understand that I know the feelings and emotions around burnout. And I don't use the word burnout lightly. It's everyone is experiencing burnout in a different way. But it showed up in my physical body like this for me. But when I look back on this version of me now that had to dig deep, that had to rebuild a different relationship with my body. I am so grateful for the journey because it has reshaped the relationship I have with my body, and the habits of the people pleasing and the pushing myself and not feeling good enough. It's transformed me, and I needed this journey. But not only that, and how it's helped me, it's helped me coach so many humans and helped them in living in this very full world that we live in. And I'm really, really grateful for that. It took me probably about 2.5 years to start feeling a slight change. And one thing that significantly changed was I was constantly assessing, connecting with my body, building that relationship with my body, and seeing what was aligned in my life and what wasn't. And one day, I was married, 2 young kids. One day I looked out on the ocean, I was on a boat trip, and this wave of energy came over me to say, Dom, there's so much more in your life to experience. There's so much more love. There's so much more joy. And I was living my life in pure survival mode. Especially 2 young kids doing a renovation, continuously doing this renovation. Both were surprise babies. There'd been so much chaos and survival in my life, and the survival mode was my norm. But it was like this wave of love that came through me to say, we want you to experience, we want you to transition out of survival mode. There's so much more to life. And I will never forget that moment. And I am so grateful for that version of me that opened up a heart and said, okay, I'm ready. And I knew that it was going to turn my life upside down. And I knew that my marriage wasn't aligned anymore. It was terrifying. It took so much courage to take aligned action and to choose myself. But again, I'm so grateful for that version of me that it was like a slight door opening with light coming through to say, hey, there's so much more. And I followed that and that alignment in my heart and that feeling, which is how I live my life. And as I came out of that marriage, it's been a very tough process in the divorce. It wasn't an amicable divorce, and there was so much stress involved. And I had the tools, I had the nervous system tools to help regulate myself in such a stressful situation, and it really, really shaped me. But also, when I made that big decision to come out of the marriage, my body began to change, and the energy started to come back, and it made me realize how much I take responsibility of trapping myself in this dynamic and closing myself off to the world. And how much I was doing that, but also how much I was holding someone else's trauma and stories and everything that they've been through. I chose to take that on too. And that was a huge lesson for me because it showed up in my body, and I don't think we realize the effects of our immediate circle and how we can take on other people's traumas. So that was a really big lesson in me to go, okay, I need more energetic boundaries. I need to protect my energetic field. And I've learned so much about why I got burnt out, and I have this level of understanding now. And we live in such an overwhelming world. We really do. Society tells us that we have to push harder and do more. And a lot of us can be coming from this achiever mindset that we have to keep pushing ourselves, and we're not present to the journey. There's so many reasons why we burn out. And believe me, I've coached so many humans, and we all have different reasons for it. But this journey that I've been on has really helped me have a level of understanding of the core reasons why people burn out. And one of those big ones is when we're out of alignment and we're not living from our heart space. We're living from our head. We're living from shoulds. We're living from what everyone thinks is best for us in our life. And it takes a lot of courage to choose the heart path. And I don't know, I don't have this big plan for the future. I used to, but now, after I turned my life upside down, I know now, before that was out of control, why I needed to know where my life was going. And now, because I trust myself and because I trust my heart path, I don't need to have all the answers figured out, as long as I keep choosing alignment and making decisions through my body. And I have experienced some extreme, intense, painful moments, but I have also experienced such bliss and joy and abundance that I would never have experienced if I hadn't have gone through this journey. I would never have come out of survival mode, and this intensity of what happened and what I went through, and literally my body just completely giving up, was such a big gift to bring me to this version where I can take care of myself. I can grow a business that's heart-led without burning myself out. I can help inspire others. I can help others let go of old stories and belief systems. And I can hold events where people come back to their personal power. So this is a snippet of my journey. You can probably feel the passion and the love that I have for helping others, because I don't want people to feel so alone in that overwhelm and burnout. And by teaching the tools that I do, they are life-changing. And I look back to that myself 5 years ago, and I don't recognize myself. I'm very grateful for that person, but I'm a completely different person, and I will keep on evolving and growing. As I said, I'm always looking to expand and stretch my nervous system's capacity and explore different modalities. I say it's like my market research as a coach, so I can help others. And I know that I'm living and I've gone through this pain to alchemize it to help others. So what I want to say is, if you've got to the end of this video, is that I'm grateful that you're here. I want to inspire you and show you what is possible for you, and that you don't have to normalize the tiredness, the feeling of overwhelm, living inside of your head. They are all habits, a way of thinking. That's all programming, stories that all live in your body. And I want to remind you that you can reprogram those stories. You can change. And it's a journey of such polarity, but when you live a journey that is connected to your heart, it feels good. You feel centered in your life. So I hope that I can inspire you. So keep following me for the videos, subscribe, and let me know if you resonate with anything that I am saying.